Wow, guys. Wow. Just wow. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I didn't even know it happened when it happened. People hit me up on Twitter. I just started getting all kinds of mentions and when's the video? When are you going to drop a video about this? And is it coming tonight? Is it coming? I was busy yesterday. I wasn't even here. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit tired today. I'm not going to do a crazy intro, but if you are a big fan of the channel, you want to support the channel and help it grow, click the link in the description, get yourself a Run It Back t-shirt. The Sixers hired Daryl Morey as the president of operations to oversee basically everything. And he even has the final say on all decisions, even above Elton Brand. It's crazy. I did not think this ownership tandem would swallow their pride. I didn't think it would happen. I did not think this ownership group would sit back and say, okay, we have no idea what we're doing. Please help us. Please help us. But if we do go back to what Elton Brand said at the end of this, after they fired Brett Brown, he said there's going to be a lot of front office changes, and he said we're going to try to balance our strengths and analytics with more basketball minds. And holy crap, they just overhauled the whole thing. I mean, this is a superstar lineup. This is unbelievable. You have actual head coaching candidates coming in here agreeing to be assistant coaches under Doc Rivers. And then you have Daryl Morey on top of it. It's just wild. To go from Josh Harris and Steve Blitzer and Brett Brown and Elton Brand, a coach who never coached, who never had a head coaching job before the tanking years, a general manager who has never been a general manager, and two owners who had their hands in everything and, thought they were playing NBA 2K and just sitting up there in an office having fun, wasting billions of dollars making stupid decisions. It was so dysfunctional, it was unbelievable. These guys actually took a step back and said, all right, we got to hire some experienced people here. It's time. We clearly can't do this just picking our own guys and just running the show whatever way we want it. We have to hire people who have done it before and who have had success doing it before. It's like owning a restaurant, and the restaurant owner, buys a restaurant, and his sister is in charge of the menu. You know what I'm saying? And like his brother is in charge of the bar, and like his other brother is in charge of the finances. And 3 years later, the thing is just running into the ground. You got 1-star reviews on Facebook. We went there. The fish was cold. The beer was warm. And you can take a step back and you say, all right, maybe I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, and I just need to be the money guy. I just need to be the owner. And I need to spend my money to hire people who have done this before. Then you hire a chef. Then you hire a bar manager. All of a sudden, you have better bartenders. You have better cooks on the line. Everything is quite top down. Everything starts at the top. I use restaurant analogies a lot because I worked in restaurants my whole life, but everything starts at the top. If you have management that doesn't care or has no clue what they're doing, they're going to hire the wrong people under them. Everything's a disaster from there on. You got to start at the top. And that's what the Sixers are finally doing. It's really unbelievable. I didn't think I would see this. I didn't think I would see a superstar coaching lineup of Doc Rivers, Sam Cassell, Dave Joerger. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm very excited for what this means for the Sixers moving forward, especially Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. What the freaking roster is going to look like when we start the season, because there's just so many directions you can go. You got to take some losses. You got to cut some losses. You got to do a lot of things. But did the restaurant owner group actually swallow their pride, or were they just sitting back like losing money? Were they just sitting back hearing the outcry from the fans and saying, yo, these are our customers. If we come back here with Brett Brown next year, we're losing half of our season ticket holders easily. And not only that, if we come back and get swept in the first round again, or don't even make the playoffs or something drastic like that, we're losing half of our season ticket. Are they looking at? They're probably looking at it from a business standpoint and saying, all right, we need to start making a bigger profit here. We need to start winning games, or we're going to start losing money. And maybe that's the decision they made. What What does this coaching staff say about accountability? It says a lot about accountability, man, because when you bring pampered superstars like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid into an organization with inexperienced coaches, inexperienced managers, inexperienced GMs, all these things, these players are not going to get to where they could possibly get to if they had experienced people leading them. You understand, these kids come in here at 19, 20, 21 years old. Do you know what I was doing when I was 21 years old? Do you think I was disciplined at all? Do you think I was making the right decisions to better my life at 21 years old? Hell no. You need guidance at that age. You need strict guidance. And somebody like Brett Brown and Elton Brand and these guys with no experience just thought, we'll just get good players. We'll just put good players on the team. That doesn't work if the guidance isn't there. I could spend all day talking about this. I don't want this video to be freaking 3 hours long or anything, but I do think Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are going to be more disciplined because you got a head coach that's been in the league for 21 years. You got offensive-minded assistant coaches. You got defensive-minded assistant coaches. You got Daryl Morey, who led the Houston Rockets, who had success in a lot of different ways in the NBA. You got guys with experience who have done it before looking at you now. The expectations are way higher for you to hold yourself accountable, for you to do what you need to do to improve the things you need to improve on. It's crazy. I didn't see it coming. I mean, I definitely saw Brett Brown getting fired at the end of last season, but I just did not see this, man. This is wild. This is just wild. I do want to say this. I am a little bit scared of Daryl Morey. And let me explain why. Okay, obviously he's experienced. He's Houston Rockets since 2007. Huge, playoff success. Didn't win a championship. But one thing I like about Daryl Morey is he never tanked. He never tanked. After the Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady era, Yao Ming retires with the foot injuries. He traded Tracy McGrady before it was too late. But he never tanked. They were still competitive for the next 3 years before he put all of these pieces together to trade for James Harden in 2012. Trades for James Harden in 2012. The Clint Capella tandem. A couple years later, he makes another huge trade to bring in Chris Paul and James Harden. I never really liked that fit, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? It's 2 point guards realistically. It is. I didn't think they were ever going to win anything. They did. They could have won a championship with that team if they didn't happen to play the best team of all time, the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, and Chris Paul got injured. So Daryl Morey has always made good moves. He's never really had a bad team, and he's never tanked. He's never taken a team from something and gotten worse, like somebody we know. So that's good. But here's what I'm scared about with Daryl Morey. I do believe he's just as much of an analytics guy as some of these other people I talk all this trash about, overanalyzing things. He went small ball. He traded Clint Capella. He was playing Robert Covington at center. I mean, he really tried to do the Golden State Warrior thing. And at the end of the day, you can't do the Golden State Warrior thing. Nobody's ever done it before. Nobody will ever do it again. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on the same team is something you will never see again. These are top 5. These might be top 2 shooters of all time in the history of the game on the same team. And then you had Kevin Durant in there. It was just a lot of coaches tried too hard to do what they were doing and should have realized you can't do what they're doing. They're going to win these championships for the next 5, 10 years. There's nothing you can do about it. But, he tried. And if it wasn't for playing the best team of all time and Chris Paul getting injured, they would have won a championship with the Chris Paul, James Harden team. But he did go small ball. And one thing he's not afraid to do is make huge moves. And that scares me for someone like Joel Embiid. And I know people said before, if you get Mike D'Antoni in here, Joel Embiid's going to get traded. I feel the same way about Daryl Morey. I'm not talking about this year. But moving forward, say they play one season under Doc Rivers with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and they don't get out of the first round. Embiid's getting traded. Book it. So, I mean, it is what it is. He traded Tracy McGrady before it was too late. He's not afraid to trade huge names to make the team better. He's just not afraid to do it. And he did work with Sam Hinkie way back in the day when they were both working in Houston. Now, he's not Sam Hinkie. He never tanked. I said that. But he's not afraid to trade huge names, make big splashes. But his history tells you it's always made the team better. It just does make me a little nervous for Joel Embiid if him and Ben Simmons don't get past the first round this upcoming season. What does that mean? What will Daryl Morey do? But it is just great to have these kind of experienced basketball minds in this organization. It's wild, man. It's crazy. I can't. I hardly even have words. I'm forcing myself. I typed out a bunch of notes because I have to talk, but I almost don't even have words. I'm in such shock at what just happened. Where did I go? Doc Rivers, Dave Joerger, Sam Cassell, Dan Burke, and everything is overseen by Daryl Morey. So they go ahead and hire Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell's been an assistant for 11 years. Sam Cassell could have gotten a head coaching job. He was one of the main candidates to get the Clippers job. They hired Ty Lue over Sam Cassell. I think that's a terrible decision. Sam Cassell agrees to join Doc Rivers as his assistant coach, and it's just wild. I mean, that's a great guy. That's a great experienced NBA player. Basketball minds. Guys who understand who should be on the floor. Guys who understand guard play. Guys who aren't going to put four forwards on the floor. I mean, last year, I screamed and yelled so much into this camera because I just could not figure out what the hell these people were thinking. Almost every lineup I saw was so insane to me because I've watched the game my whole life. I've played the game my whole life. I'm sure a lot of you have also. And it just didn't make sense. You know? A simple pickup game at the park. If you got 3 centers on your team that can't shoot, you're going to get beat by a bunch of dudes that can shoot the damn ball. It's basic basketball. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. How bad it was. These guys had no idea what they were doing. It was the guy that's in the office, that's behind a desk crunching numbers, was making basketball decisions. It's crazy. And now we're finally getting basketball minds in here, and I just couldn't feel better about it. Dan Burke is the funny one because Dan Burke was the assistant in Indiana Pacers. And he is hailed as a defensive specialist. I love that because last year we were supposed to be bully ball. We were supposed to be shut down. We're going to stop everyone defensively. Nobody's going to score on us. And the defense was horrendous because, again, players can only play. It starts at the top. If the system is broken, the player's not going to perform. Al Horford was worse when he came here. Josh Richardson was worse when he came here. Tobias Harris was worse when he came here. It starts to look like maybe it's the system around these players, right? I think you're going to see so much improvement from all of these players. If Al Horford's still here next year, you're going to see improvement from him and how him and Embiid are used together or not used together. You're going to see so much. It's going to be so different because Brett Brown had no fucking clue what he was doing, period, when it came to lineups and analytics and all these things. Elton Brand, never been a GM before, also had no idea what he was doing. Just came in here like he was playing a video game. Trade this asset, trade this asset, trade this asset. Bring in this big name, bring in this big name. Let's make a team of superstars. Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris. It was a disaster because you traded things to bring Jimmy Butler in, and Jimmy Butler left. So you lost all of those assets. Dario Saric, Robert Covington, whatever else they threw in there. You traded Landry Shamet and 2 first-round picks for Tobias Harris, and Landry Shamet, honestly, is probably just as good as Tobias Harris. So you lost 2 first-round picks there too. You lost a whole bunch of assets because Elton Brand had no idea what he was doing. I don't know if it was the ownership involved. I don't know if it was a lot of Brett Brown's involvement because I coached Tim Duncan in the 90s. We got to play in the post and put a bunch of centers on the floor. I don't know, but let me get back to what I was saying. Dan Burke is hailed as a defensive specialist. It is funny that he was on TV last season, and he said, I hate the Sixers, and I think Embiid gets away with a ton of crap that the league ignores. It's funny that they hired him after he said something like that about your number one superstar player on your team. And that is just funny to me. It's probably just going to be chalked up as he was an Indiana Pacers coach. You know, of course he's not going to love the Sixers. He's not going to say great things about another team that he's trying to beat or that keeps beating him. So he said that about Embiid. Embiid gets away with a ton of crap the league ignores. I mean, what does he get away with, really? You know, I don't know exactly what you mean. Is he talking about flops? Is he talking about drawing offensive fouls? Or is he talking about like outside stuff, things he says on Twitter, dancing at Meek Mill concerts and stuff like that? I don't know exactly what he meant by it. But I'll tell you this. Embiid got away with pathetic pick-and-roll defense last season. So if this guy's going to come in here and fix that, I'm all for it. I'm just excited. I'm ready for these coaches to be in charge and not the players, because so many things have to happen from the top down, and it's very exciting. I think Embiid, practice number one, should dunk on this guy's face, and that should be the end of the issue. That should be the end of the drama. It should. What does this mean for Elton Brand? I don't think Elton Brand is anything at this point. I really don't. I think they're going to ship him out. I think they're moving him out. You know, you don't hire Daryl Morey to oversee everything and have the final say, and a head coach who has 21 years of experience. I mean, Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey are going to be the ones making decisions. Elton Brand, I just feel like they felt bad for him at this point, and they're just going to let him sit there in his GM chair, and I don't know what he's going to do anymore. He's not even making the final decisions. I don't know. How are you a general manager and you're not making the final decision? It just is what it is. I don't think Elton Brand has any value as a general manager. I think it's been a disaster, every single thing he's done so far. If it wasn't him, sorry that it fell back on you, Elton, but it is what it is. Now we have two guys with so much experience and so much of a resume. I trust Doc Rivers. I trust Daryl Morey more than I trust Elton Brand, and I think the Sixers ownership think the same way. Man, what a shakeup. Holy cow. I am so glad last year is over. I know some of you guys keep telling me I missed the Fire Brett Brown podcast. Yeah, it was a fun time, man. It was a fun run we had. I knew it would be short-lived because I knew he was getting fired. But I'm just so glad it's over. I'm so glad the frustration is over with the coaching staff and the front office. This is just looking so good. It really is. It's looking so good. Now I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm excited to see what roster changes happen. Because the front office, this is a superstar lineup. I can't believe it. I'm excited to see what happens with the roster. Because I want that Al Horford contract out of here. You know, I want some... that's the thing about Doc Rivers, by the way. You brought Doc Rivers in not just because he's experienced and he's a good head coach. You brought him in because people respect him. People want to be under him. Pause. Assistant coaches don't mind coming here and being an assistant coach as long as they're under someone like Doc Rivers. You know, Sam Cassell wouldn't have come here to be an assistant coach under Brett Brown. Are you kidding me? He would have been like, what? This dude has done nothing. I want to be the head coach. But Doc Rivers is respected. People don't mind coming here as an assistant coach. Dave Joerger, Sam Cassell. This is just insane. Those are three coaches that could be head coaches in the NBA that are now coaching the same team. I mean, I'm expecting this to look so much different. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. This is wild. It was great news yesterday. I know I don't have a lot of energy right now. I'm a little bit tired. My name is DJ Eastwood. This is Run It Back, man. I can't wait to see what the roster's what roster changes we're gonna see, man. I want veteran guards to come in here, and that's the thing about Doc Rivers, too. You know, veteran players that wouldn't have came here because they didn't want to play under Brett Brown. The only way you got Jimmy Butler was through trade. The only way you got Tobias Harris was through trade. You got J.J. Redick because you paid him $37 million in 1 year. You know, but veteran players weren't going to come here under Brett Brown. Now you look at this coaching staff, veteran players are going to want to come here. And now you can shed contracts. You can do what you need to do to get rid of some of these horrendous contracts, and you can surround Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons with the right pieces and some veteran leadership. And I'm feeling so good about this, man. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you're feeling about this, man. DJ Eastwood here, run it back. You guys have a blessed day, man. Go Sixers.